Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Geraldine from Negestyle. Today I have a t-shirt transformation video for y'all. The part 1 of this video is transforming the sleeves. I'm going to add an African print puff sleeve to the edge of the sleeve, the t-shirt sleeve. First thing, I'm going to measure the sleeve. I'm going to take my measuring tape, and I'm measuring the width of the sleeve, which is 16 centimeters, and that's the measurement I'm going to use to cut the lining and the African print, and I'm going to art on the sleeve. All right, there you go. That's my lining. I'm folding my lining by 4, as you can see, and there is the width, like the width that I took from the sleeve, the t-shirt sleeve. I'm going to place it right here, folded by 4. That's for the 2 sleeves. And the length of the puff sleeve I'm going to art is going to be more than 18, but that's the length I'm giving to the lining is 18. So whatever I'm doing, whatever length I put on the lining, I'm going to add 5 centimeters to it on the African print. Remember, this is the lining is going to be inside, so it's 5 centimeters shorter than the complete length. So back to it, I'm going to measure that's a triangle, right? I'm going to measure my triangle of 16 by 18. Place on fold, as you can see. I'm pinning it together and I'm about to cut. But guys, I think it's too short. I'm going to add it. I'm going to make it more longer. After drawing the line, the 18 centimeter long, and when I was about to cut it, I said to myself, I think I want it a little longer. So I've added 3 centimeters. That would make my sleeve 21 centimeters for the lining, and 5 more with the African print. So I'm drawing my triangle all over because I added 3 more centimeters, and I'm going to cut it out. Onto the fabric, I'm going to take 2 pieces of African print, placing both right side together facing each other, and I'm going to fold again like that. Remember, I'm cutting both sleeves. That's why my measurements are double up on 2 different pieces to make both sleeves. So I folded it. For the puff sleeve, the lining is just the regular size, but the puff will be on the African print. That's why I'm doing the lining times 2 to have the puff that will be added just on the print. As you see me draw the line, that's my 18 centimeter plus the sewing allowance times 2, that give me 36 centimeters, which I'm drawing the line right now of 36 centimeters. And at the bottom of the sleeve, remember what I said, I'm going to add 5 centimeters for the ease, like to give it that puff look, and for the fabric to cover up the lining. That's why I'm adding this 5 centimeters, because I don't want the lining to be seen at the bottom of the puff sleeves. So I'm drawing my line 5 centimeters longer and twice the size for the width, and I'm going to cut it out. It's time to sew. The first thing, I'm doing my notches at the center so they can meet while I'm sewing the lining to the fabric. I need those notches to make sure it's balancing up while sewing. First thing, notches, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch the first part of my sleeve. I'm working on one sleeve first, so I'm taking away the other sleeve and I'm placing it on the side. I'm working on one sleeve first. First sewing step is gathers. I'm going to sew 2 lines of gathers. You know how to set up your machine for gathers. Put it to the longest stitch, the loosest stitch to have some gathers. So I'm going to sew 2 lines of gathers on the print only. My gathers are done. I'm going to pull it to pull the thread, the bottom thread, the bobbin thread to create my gathers. The next step is sewing the side seam. I'm sewing the side seam of the sleeves separately. I'm sewing the side seam of the print and the side seam of the lining. After that is done, I'm going to open my sewing allowance and make them meet right side against right side. Right side of the lining against the right side of the print. Pin them together and stitch it. Once I'm done stitching, I'm going to open the seam allowance and iron on the ironing table. Iron my seam allowance flat. Then I'm going to the other edge of the sleeve. That's the top of the sleeve. The part I just did was the bottom of the stitch where I put the gathers and create a puff. That was the bottom of the sleeve. Take out the threads from the gathers, and I'm going now to the top of the sleeve. At the top of the sleeve, I'm creating some pleats. The first thing is to pin together my notches and my seam allowance together, facing each other, right wrong side again, wrong side this time. If you pay attention to the video, you're going to understand what I mean by that. And I'm going to pin my notches together like that. Make sure it's balanced up. So I'm going to start by creating some pleats and pinning them together. Like, balance up my pleats before I stitch it. Like, make sure my pleats are balanced up before I attach it to the t-shirt sleeve. I'm going to pin it together, creating my sleeves, making sure they are perfect. Then I pin them together before I attach it to the t-shirt. Alright, after my pleats look good, just the way I like it, organize my pleats, make sure they align exactly how I want them to be. I'm going to take my t-shirt. I'm going to flip my t-shirt to the wrong side. That's how we say it. I'm going to flip it inside, and I'm taking my sleeve, my puff sleeve, that African print puff sleeve, that I'm going to slide inside the t-shirt like you see me do. Seam allowance, seam lines against seam lines, the right side against right side, and I'm pinning it together. I also have to create like a notch at the center of the sleeve, like that, so it can meet like at the exact point. I'm going to create a notch right there at the top. Then I'm going to pin it together with a notch of the puff sleeve I just created. Part of the puff sleeve I just created with the print. I'm going to pin that together, and I'm ready to sew. This is the last step. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned, and make sure you watch to the end. Thumb up if you love and learn something, and make sure to subscribe so you could be connected, and click your notification bell so you could be updated when I finish up my t-shirt transformation. Because remember, this is part 1 of the transformation. Part 2 of the transformation will be the bottom of the t-shirt to make a complete Ankara pretty dress. So thank you for watching. Love you guys, and catch you on the next one.